Our next guest is a legend in the bantamweight division and a UFC veteran. He's fighting at UFC 175 against Alex Caceres. Ladies and gentlemen, Urijah Faber is on Submission Radio. Uriah, welcome to Submission Radio.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, it's an absolute pleasure. Now, Uriah, before we get into the meat and bones of the interview, when I first saw Full Contact Skydiving, I thought it was a bit of a prank, didn't realize it was real. Then I watched the video and I was blown away. Tell us a little bit about what Full Contact Skydiving is and how you're involved in it.
Oh, oh, yeah, I forgot about that, man. That thing's been taking off like wildfire. They just basically brought me in to help coach up the guys. I got to go in the simulator and do a little simulated diving myself and meet some of the guys that are serious about it. And it's pretty crazy, man. They have that's a whole different animal. I myself will never be doing that, I don't think.
Yeah, it's kind of like you've got skydiving. It's like MMA meets the Matrix, and you're a part of it. So tell us, how exactly did you get a part of it, and just tell us a little bit more about Full Contact Skydiving for those people who don't exactly know what it is.
I just basically I had seen a little bit about it, and then kind of got a little more intrigued. I talked to a guy who was involved, and I was helping him out first, and then I decided, hey, let's go ahead and get a little more involved and start holding classes for a couple of the guys, and then they brought me on for this particular fight. And the simulator, I mean, it's a whole different animal. There's a different way of like maneuvering, and it's kind of like, I try to do what I can to help out, but it's just kind of a wild thing in general.
Yeah, I mean, you're fighting in the air, which is good because that, my biggest complaint about skydiving was that it was, far too safe and relaxing. I think I drank a cup of tea. I think I drank a cup of tea on my way down when I went. But in all seriousness, there is a level of danger that goes with full contact skydiving. To all the people that are already shaking their sticks in the air, what safety measures have these guys, come up with when they're obviously executing a, air MMA fight?
Well, I mean, the theory is, and it's like I said, it's so new. I don't think that there's been any deaths as far as I know. Of course, this has probably been going on, for underground for more than most of us know. But they have the time shoots that open up, and after a certain time limit, they have to stop fighting anyways. And they have a referee out there who can catch as well. And now with the head, the helmets and the protective gear, it's really hard to get a knockout, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So it's pretty intense.
It's pretty crazy, and I would have come up with snakes and ladders up there in the air because it's just a strategy game. But I'm excited to see what happens with it. Now, Uriah, the other people are shaking their sticks in the air recently because your bout has been put on the prelim cards for UFC 175. Tell us a little bit about this, and what were your thoughts when you found out?
For me, it actually makes a little more sense. It's the main event on the free card, the Fox Sports 1 card. So, I think as far as exposure goes, I'll be probably to a wider view, to more viewers, the guys that don't have to pay it. I think the pay-per-view numbers haven't necessarily been high like they used to be. So, for me, it makes more sense. I'm the featured fight on the free card right before the pay-per-view, and I don't get a piece of that pay-per-view anyways. So, I'd rather have more people watching the fights.
You know what? You pretty much answered my next question, because I was going to say, obviously, the fight fans are happy because everybody gets to watch you for free who isn't maybe necessarily going to get the pay-per-view. But yeah, in terms of like, does it affect you in any way, in a monetary way, like sponsors or pay-per-view points or anything like that? No?
No, I'd much rather. I actually asked to be on the the main event of the free card because that's the fight that everybody's going to see for free. Even all the cheapskates aren't going to be able to watch the pay-per-view card. So for me, it makes more sense to get the exposure because it doesn't affect me either way as far as pay goes.
The cheapskates win again.
The one thing that's going to be a little awkward is that, first off, I've never been on a prelim, so I have to report a little bit earlier, but I'm prepared for that. And the second thing is it's earlier in the night, so I usually adjust my sleep schedule to sleep in a little bit longer, so I'll be adjusting that as well. And then the last thing will be, a lot of times, especially in Vegas, people start stumbling into the fights when the main event starts. So people have to make shake off the Vegas rust and get in early to catch my fight this time. But, again, it's for the bigger picture of getting in front of a lot of eyes, which is more important to me than the idea of being on a pay-per-view, because the idea of being on a pay-per-view is not the same as millions of people watching at home. That's more valuable to me.
You're really becoming like the people's champion. I was gonna say, me and Dennis, we love to sleep in, so we would have to be main event fighters, only the main events.
Yeah. What time are the fights going to be on over there in Australia?
I think 12 p.m. or 2 p.m. It's usually around 12 or 2 p.m. in Australia, and prelims around about 10 a.m.
Everybody's in the pub at 10 a.m. drinking beer. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds good. You Australians know how to do it, man.
Oh, yeah. Beer is breakfast, basically. But I was going to ask you, in terms of Alex Caceres, he's obviously made a big turnaround since The Ultimate Fighter, and you're obviously a veteran. The only knock on this fight is that people are saying Alex Caceres maybe isn't necessarily ready for you, and you're far too experienced for Alex. What are your thoughts on the matchup?
I think it's, people are privy to what they know, and I've been around a lot longer than he is, but I'm not sure how many guys are on a 5-fight win streak in the UFC, and I know that he's big for the weight class. I think he was on The Ultimate Fighter at 155 pounds. So, to me, I don't take this guy lightly at all. He's got some finishes. He's got an exciting style. He's got a reach advantage on me. He's a younger guy, so he obviously doesn't have the name necessarily. But, people don't understand this is a fight. It's between two guys that are the same size, that are both training in the same discipline. So, I expect to win. I always expect to win. I expect to go in and finish him, but I'm sure he's expecting the same. So for me, I try to keep it as simple as possible. It's two guys going after each other, trying to do bodily harm. So, I'm taking him very seriously. I think he's tough. He just beat Sergio Pettis, who, in my opinion, is one of the top up-and-comers out there. And so, that says a lot. He finished him.
Now, you obviously you mentioned that Alex is tough, and if you do get past Alex, you're in an interesting conundrum because you've fought a lot of the guys in the bantamweight division. Have you sort of thought about who you'd want to fight next? Obviously, Dominic Cruz is going to be back in the mix soon. You've had a couple of fights with Renan Barão. I'm sure you wouldn't mind fighting him again. And then, of course, TJ's the champion. Who would you want to fight if you do get past Alex at UFC 175 next?
That's a good question. I think there's some interesting fights out there for TJ. So, I don't see that fight between us happening. We basically fight all the time in the gym, but it's not on that main stage with the intent to kill. So, yeah, the fight with TJ, I don't want that fight to happen. It doesn't need to happen, especially anytime soon. I think Rafael Sunsao, and we're talking about a rematch with Renan Barão for him, and there's the Dominic Cruz fight. So I think there's a lot of guys out there for me to fight. I even heard some rumors of Kid Yamamoto wanting a fight with me, and I've got my fight now that I'm focusing on, and that's the most important fight for me. There's the Cruz fight for me. There's another Barão fight for me. There's a lot of fights out there. If Rafael gets a shot here soon, that's a guy that I haven't win against, so that's an interesting fight. There's a lot of options out there. I'm just going to keep doing my thing and having fun and put my best foot forward.
Okay, well, that's good. I guess the other big question is, obviously there's fights in a bantamweight division for you, but ultimately, obviously TJ's holding the title, and again, much congratulations to him. What about as far as title aspirations go? Do you think about going to 45, or what's the deal with that?
No, I'm just gonna. If there's an interesting fight that they want me to fight, 45 maybe. But I don't like to think too far ahead like that. I'm going to focus on Alex Caceres. If I do what I believe I can and finish him, I'll look for the next matchup. But I just want to stay busy. And like you said, I've fought most of the guys in the top 10 in our weight class. So, I'm just going to stay busy and see what these guys have for me.
And, obviously you've had a very interesting relationship with Dominic Cruz. Before you finish out your time in the UFC, way down the line, is that an important fight that you want to have a rematch of before you get out of the UFC?
It's not like a make or break for me, but I would like to have that fight. He's a guy that has had some real bad luck. I'm hoping that he heals up and can make a go at it. I believe that the champion, it's a mindset thing. It's not a body thing. So if he can get his body, healed up, I think he'll still be a top contender. And I'm not sure if he'll have me fight him right away or he'll get his shot at TJ right away or what the deal will be. But it's definitely a fight I'd like.
And just another question I wanted to ask you, Uriah. Obviously, in your last fight, there's a bit of controversy to the finish. Do you know who the official is, who the ref will be that's obviously going to be reffing the fight between you and Bruce Leeroy?
I have never looked in advance on a thing like that, so I don't really have any kind of clue. And, if it is Herb Dean, I would hope that he learned his lesson last time and he lets the fight play out. So even if it were him, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I just, it was unfortunate that last go around, that last fight was it really was unfinished. So, I didn't want to bitch and complain too much, but it was definitely something that I wasn't happy about.
So you're right. We're going to do, obviously, what's called the tap-out round. Obviously, you've been on the show before. You know what it's all about. Fire off a bunch of questions at you, and you tell us the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Does Urijah Faber get a large popcorn meal when he goes to the movies?
Of course.
Now, you're an entrepreneur, and you've got things like the memory tag, your businesses. You're now part of Full Contact Skydiving. So Submission Radio R&D department has come up with 3 products for you that could be a no-brainer for you to bring out next. All right, so we want you to choose the one that you think is going to be the best and the one that you want to bring out next, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so you've got the Urijah Faber wig hat. It's a wig, it's a hat, it's made from 100% recycled materials and runs on low emissions. Number 2, the Team Alpha Male scented training cards with authentic sweat smells and a piece of hair from every member on the team. And number 3, of course, is the Urijah cheese snacks. There's 5 crackers, authentic aged cheese slices, and the selling slogan will be, tap out to the deliciousness with the Urijah's cheese snacks. Which one do you choose?
Let's see. I like the wig. The wig would be good, but can we get a chin strap on it with a butt chin?
Of course. It might dip into the high emissions, but that's okay. We'll get the guys to work on it. Now, you're right, Faber. Next question. Is there such thing as a bad pizza?
A bad pizza? I think so. I'm not a huge pizza fan myself. I like pizza if I make it myself. Other than that, I'm not a huge fan.
Without thinking, Urijah, tell us who's going to be the next striking coach at Team Alpha Male.
Martin Kampman, maybe, but he's not. He's more of an MMA coach. We'll see.
Okay. First meal you eat after a weight cut?
I have a homemade potato and turkey tacos, and then I have another meal after that.
Nice.
Bananas are badass. Do you agree or disagree?
Is me being a badass?
Bandanas are badass. Do you agree or disagree?
Depends who's wearing them.
Okay. How many headbands do you own, Urijah?
I've owned a lot throughout the years, but they call me the California Coot because I lose everything. So as of right now, I probably have maybe 5, but I don't know where they are.
In your opinion, would Dana White look better with a beard?
It depends if he's skinny or fat. He goes through little swings. If he's chubby, I think you can cover up the extra chin with a beard. When he's all fit, he looks pretty good, though.
Now, Uriah, what's the highest weight you've ever been at?
I hit 164 for a few hours, and I had my hand broken and casted, and I was lifting a lot, and I felt horrible. I ended up sleeping like 12 hours, and I lost 6 pounds overnight. And then I was back down to about 158. So 164, though, I hit it for a second.
Wow.
It's on record now. And finally, Uriah, what drives Urijah Faber in his fighting career in the second part of 2014?
Just to have fun and to keep winning. I think it feels good to get out there and have the reward of victory after a lot of years of hard work. So I feel like I've gotten to a point where it's just time to collect the W's after all the years of discipline and getting this technique up.
There it is. All right, guys, so don't forget to catch Urijah Faber against Alex Caceres, also known as Bruce Leeroy, on the main event of the UFC 175 Prelims. That is on July 5th, Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas. And, of course, for all you Aussies, that's July 6th on that sweet, sweet Sunday. And follow him at Urijah Faber on Twitter. Urijah, thank you so much for being on the show again.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.